I'm the creator of the writing course. What I want to do in this video as you're preparing to gear up homeschool, or maybe you're interested in just your public school or your private school kid learning how to write. There are 12 things that your child must learn. In fact, we're going to call this the 12 things your child must learn to write well. So you can go online, Amazon, and find right here the writing course. It's a book, or you can go online and find at advanced-writing-resources.com our whole course. But I'm going to tell you the core of it right now, and you can use it regardless of if you want anything more advanced. It's important in writing and understanding writing to realize that there is a what, a why, and a how. All right, so the what itself is where a child or a person learns to put words together that actually communicate what they're trying to say. And it's a discovery process because, as we'll see, one of the principles, you're actually starting to unfold words to communicate a meaning that you have. Now, why we do this, there are three basic things in education, and we're always interested in helping kids learn how to learn. So they're sort of teaching themselves to write through this process. These three R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, as they say, are essential. So reading is the way we capture insights from other minds. It is essential. Can't even do math without it. But it is the foundation. Math, on the other hand, is a different kind of language, but it's the language of science. And as a result, in this language of science, what we found is that it teaches them logic, teaches them how to think, teaches them how to critically reason and problem solve. But it also teaches them about absolutes because math tends to work right, wrong, got it correct, you didn't. So understanding that is essential because writing actually kind of puts all this together. When we write, it makes us think. When we write, we're at a higher level learning to communicate with other people. We discover things, we communicate things, we have impact on this world. So if you want your child to become effective as a learner, and what we're always interested in is happy adults. If they're happy kids, that's a bonus. We like that. But we're trying to rear them, to grow them, to be happy adults. And this skill of writing is essential in that whole process, regardless of AI, regardless of everything else. Now, I want to tell you here's how not to learn writing: study grammar, do rote exercises, obsess on mechanics. Now, I get copy work for young children, but when you move on to start learning how to write, you're not wanting to study grammar. That's not the way to go. We have 100 years of studies that demonstrate the more you study grammar, the worse you write. You don't find your voice, and you kind of get stuck in your head. Your child will. So if you're caught up on teaching them the right way to write, the grammar, the exact mechanics of it, you're going to miss out on helping them grow to love writing and to be effective at it and find their own voice. Instead, what you're wanting to do is make writing an opportunity for them to find their own unique way of expressing things. And largely, writing, when it's learned and done correctly, it's play and it's fun. If your kid doesn't like to write, they don't understand these principles. And so that's why we're going to share them. Now, we've had thousands of students go through this course over the past 20 years or more. And I can tell you over and over again, all I can do is get feedback of those who really tried of how their child's transformed, not only in their love of writing, but also and more particularly in their actual joy. They joyfully write. And you'll find them starting to write on the side. Our kids, once they started learning this, started writing little novels as 10, 12-year olds. It was exciting to see. And it gets better. So you might think what I'm going to share is too simple, but it works and it's proven. And a lot of what we do in life is I'd call it over complexificate things. And we want to keep this pointed and great. So, what you're going to do with your child is get them to write daily, just for a bit, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. 20 is a good number, maybe more. Uh, but that daily writing and combined with a special kind of feedback that we show you how to do, that relationship between their writing and a good way to give feedback lets them grow and it helps them learn to find their. They learn about punctuation, learn about spelling. We have an essay course that goes with it. But it's these 12 principles that make the difference. So let me just go through them. I call these the 12 secrets of writing. And so, number one is there are two kinds of writing there's correct writing and there's effective writing. Most of us get caught up on correct writing. So we gravitate to curriculum that, makes us go through the rules and the mechanics and practice things. And all that stuff usually is exhausting for kids. I mean, in a bell curve, there's some that love that kind of stuff, but we don't find our voice that way. So when you want to understand it, writing correct is a thing. And that may be great as a result. But it's not the same as effective because effective writing actually communicates what they're trying to say, usually in an interesting or winsome way. So that's secret number one. There are two kinds. Keep that in mind. Secret number two, the best writing happens in three steps. It goes from A to get help and to make it great if they want to. All you're trying to get them to learn to write something that's okay. And in fact, we get them to ask, uh, can I write something okay? When I did my doctoral dissertation that was going to be evaluated by a professor who had gone to Harvard, it's a little, oh, I'd say intimidating. But when I asked myself, can I write an okay paper dissertation? I went, yeah. And then you get help. So, editing, feedback, there are ways to help yourself that we show you, but you get help. And then, if you want to, you make it better. Ideally, you make it great. The third secret language and instinct. Now, what I mean by that is it's already kind of hardwired. We're made for language. And it's important to understand that. In a way, it's learned, but in a way, it's discovered. They have the ability to do it within themselves. So Rudolf fleshed it out. Excuse me. One of the amazing things about writing or studying language of the grammar or whatever, it's you have to know the language before you can study it because it's hardwired in. Children, toddlers, and up are learning constantly exactly how to put words together, sentences, paragraphs, all the rest. So they're learning the grammar without knowing the rules because the rules are instinctive to them. And tapping into that instinct makes the difference. Number four, the fourth secret, learning. Grammar and punctuation is about sound and those first two secrets. So they're learning to write by ear. They're learning to write for sound. If it's okay, it probably is okay. That's the way you want to stress it. So if they say something that doesn't sound good, it's probably not good. If you share with them, hey, does this sound better? And they say yes, they're learning. They can feedback. If they know, then you why, or they may have a no, it sounds better. But basically, you're going for if it sounds okay, it is okay. The next secret. There's only one difference between good spellers and bad spellers. Good spellers do not guess. Bad spellers guess, just like with phonics. They're guessing words instead of really learning it. So when you train them in the feedback process to not guess on words, what they'll do is they'll either look it up or they'll mark it to look up later, or they'll use another word. But that way they get trained not to be a bad speller. If you know a good speller, you'll find someone that doesn't guess. If you're a bad speller, you guess. So we want to train them not to do that. The sixth secret is you can always write because everything reminds you of something. So we teach them how to think about writing in terms of considering, even a list of items. I'll do a thing with like my name, Fred, and I'll do faith and R for radio and E for uh, elephants and a D for uh, uh, dogs. And all that starts reminding different kinds of dogs, different kinds of elephants, what they do, um, faith, what believing something's all about, and that sets the brain up to start being able to write creatively. The next secret, number seven, is this is kind of important. Well, they all are, and that is you actually. Uh, sorry, my computer's doing something weird. So you actually are not what you write is the principle of separation. So they write a paper, but that's not them. And we get that conflated, and so it's so much pressure. A book will last beyond, um, will actually last well beyond the life of the person. And so you can see the book is separate than the person. And that's what we're wanting to honestly understand. This, I don't know what's going on with that. I hope you don't see it. But the nature of separation is crucial with sports or anything. So you look at something you're writing as something to work on specifically. And when you learn to work on it, you actually are learning exactly how to um, treat it as something objective, something separate from you. And in doing that, what you find is they get freed up. So it's a project to work on and it's not about them. You can write something good, you can write something poor, you can fix it, change it. It goes back to that thing of write okay, get help, make it great. Number eight secret in writing is the words create the thought. This is pretty crucial because what's going on is the actual words they're creating create the thought. So they have an intention, but you can put the words together and try different words and it creates the thought. If you say the dog is white, that means something in particular. If you say the dog is dirty, that means something particular. So when they start understanding that they have an intention, something they want to say, and then they play with the words and put them together, the words themselves allow them to look at them and go, is that what I meant to say? So it's a very powerful principle. In writing's 12 secrets, number nine is you just make it up. It's a nice thing about fiction, especially. You just make it up. It doesn't have to be great. It's going to be okay, but you're just making it up. It's not a right thing. It's just a written thing. And learning how to do that and learning to get free to just make it up changes their lives. Number 10, effective writing is about creating a whole other world. So in a universe that they write anything, any fiction you read, it's its own universe. It has its own rules. If you watch movies or read books and complain, well, that can't happen, that can't, you're not in that world. So that world, that universe has its own rules. And so when they're just making it up, principle 9, and they understand that they're just creating their own world, it frees them and directs them to think about how that world works. Number 11, the greatest key to effective writing is tension seeks resolution. What that means is that you set up a tension in writing and you resolve it by the end of the book. You know, it starts out in a murder mystery, who done it? And then by the end, we get who does it. This is kind of a hardwired thing in humans as well. Just like, oh, knock knock jokes. Knock knock. And your response is you want to say who's there. You've been trained in that. But it's leaving that tension. Questions are that way. And so when Lewis Carroll opens his book through the looking glass, I think, with something in the direction of it was obviously the black cat's fault. Well, that sets up a tension. Why? What happened? Why was its fault? Why was it obviously the black cat? And so suddenly this whole nature of interestingness kicks in. And so when they learn not to too quickly tell you the point and build to it, it engages people in wanting to read their writing. Number 12, the greatest key to effective, I'm sorry, I said that. The greatest effective is tension six resolution. Number 12, the final one. Effective writing flows from using one's own voice. Everyone's voice is a little different. Their experiences, their language, what they learn, what they wrestle with, their perspective, their viewpoint, all that goes into voice. So when you start writing in your voice, it sounds like you. One of the greatest compliments I get is people, whenever they read my stuff, they go, I can hear you. And that's because I'm using my voice. And your voice, you're going to be more effective at, just like singing. If you have a deep voice and you try to sing up here, not going to work well. If you have a very high voice and you try to sing low, it doesn't work well. You want to really empower your children to use their own voice. So, those are the 12 secrets. I hope you find them helpful. Start teaching them to your kids. If you'd like a more complete process, we have a course, workbook, whole thing. You get it for life. It actually, right now, comes with pretty much 11 other courses, essay courses in there, one on time management, one on how to memorize things, one on how to focus. There are all kinds of things that we've learned and developed over the years, and all of those will be available. So you might want to go check it out. You can, my name, Fred Lybrand, writing course will get you there, or advanced writing resources.com. It is a proven, effective, amazing course and process. And we have a Facebook group so you can ask questions and get insights from one another. And I check in regularly and will answer any of your questions. So, hope you found this helpful. Hey, please subscribe. That would be awesome. And in addition, if you would, pass this along if you found it helpful at all. Hope you did find this helpful. Bless you.